What's happening, guys? It is Friday, October 8th. I'll be taking off a little bit later on today, heading up to Northern Arizona with my youngest, Maggie. She and I got drawn for deer this year. So just did the Alaska hunt. Now I've got to run up. We got to get her on her first mule deer, hopefully the end of this month. But you got to go figure out where you're going. You got to figure out the area. I've been to that area before, but there's been some changes I've heard. So it's been probably about 4 years since I've been up there. So we're going to roll up there, quick turn and burn, get up there tonight, set up camp, go check out the areas that I had seen deer at the past, where I know that they used to travel, make sure that's still the case. If not, see if we can find other tracks, get a good feel for that, turn on, get my butt back down here. Got a lot of things happening tomorrow night and over the weekend. And then, of course, next week, I've got traveling again. So there's a lot happening in my world. But, speaking of the hunting, I said I would talk a little bit more about Alaska, what happened. So, other than that first opportunity to hunt where my buddy Blake was able to get a moose down, it was then a couple of days before we saw any other opportunity, which we knew we had to have at least one moose a day to be able to meet the really demand that we had. 7 days out there, we had 7 days to hunt and 7 people. So it's a moose a day that we need to be sure we got. And so I was sticking right next to my buddy Larry. Now Larry is a former leader of SEAL Team 3, and he used to plan, execute, and lead a lot of the missions. In fact, some of the missions he had to lead were some of the most dangerous ones out there in the Middle East. So a guy that had spent his life, for no lack of a better way of saying it, hunting people, right? Now he's doing something that's kind of out of his sphere, which was doing this kind of hunting. So we went together, and I was stuck with him until we found that moose. Now, sticking with that guy. So you have the one guy who is with us, one of the natives, showing us the areas where he's seen moose, right? Not necessarily a guy just showing us areas. He's a little guy. He's fast, and he's getting through all this brush and everything quickly. Then you got Larry, who his background, so he can move pretty quickly. And then myself and my camera guy, and Chris. And we have gear, and we've got these damn waders on that they're these really heavy, thick, they have told us to get these chest waders because you're going to go in the marsh a lot and the swamps a lot. We didn't need them that day, but yet I'm wearing these damn things, and they are restricting your ability to move. And we're hopping over rocks and trees and going a couple thousand yards, I'm guessing, hunting something because we heard a moose in there. We're calling and trying to run this guy down, and I'm trying to keep up. And finally we got there, and he pops out, and he was a massive moose. And Larry was set up. I was set up to back him up. Larry got him first shot. Then it's the work, right? Then you got to do all the process of getting that carcass out. And that was miserable enough just getting in there. Well, it worked out that he was able to get some of the local guys to help, and we got it out. It was not an easy task for him. He decided to do the whole thing himself, as far as the skinning and the quartering and the deboning and all that, and get those guys to help him. Those guys, interestingly enough, they help cut, from what I understand, enough as far as helping on the processing piece of it out in the field dressing, enough for them to get enough meat to set up a little makeshift camp and cook themselves some food and kick back and take a nap while Larry did most of the work. But they helped pack it all out, which I'm glad I didn't have to help pack that because I was miserable. Well, I was out hunting got my own moose that same day. So we got 2 at the same time, kind of catching everything up. So kind of into that was a little bit of the story. There's more story to come. A little bit of the markets today. Interesting. Today, we have Bureau of Labor Statistics putting information out. There was an expectation of 500,000 jobs being created. That's what the anticipation was. But then you get the report that only 194,000 jobs were created in the month of September, which much weaker than they anticipated. There was a revisions, 169,000 positive revisions in July and August, which does make this miss not so much of a miss because there's more jobs created earlier in the year when they finished all their reconciliation. But so it puts us somewhere closer to 400,000 jobs. So we're not off of that 500,000 enough to made the dent that you think that it would have made in the bond market. So bonds would react favorably to that. Well, as we see today, the 2.0, which is the place where we get money for people doing the owner occupied, we saw last week or earlier in the week how it was working its way up here, but it's been taking a hit and it's back down at this support line. with that information today, if it came in as expected, we probably would have broke through the support and we would have seen rates continue to pump up higher, but they're staying kind of put, but it still was not a really good morning for them. Now, if it continues to hold, the anticipation is from those who I subscribe to, that if this holds, we might go back up and test these higher levels and may get back up in here. Hard to say. But for right now, it is going to be a little bit higher in the rates for those buying houses or locking homes for occupancy. Now you get into the 3.5 for your investments. You know, the initial jobless claim number, or at least job creation number, was reacted really, really well, but now we've seen it go negative as a result. So not something that that we are excited about, but it's at least staying somewhat flatlined. And I believe there has been a little bit of negative influence to all rates just because of the fear of where the market might go with this, since those revisions were settling that number out a little bit, or at least taming it out a little bit more. So it could cause a little pressure against the bonds. And as a result of that, I don't think the pricing is coming out to be as aggressive as it should be. There might be a little bit of trepidation on those who are issuing pricing to be a little bit cautious about what they offer. So for right now, I think that we're really cautious about what we're seeing for the next week, but I'm optimistic that we might see a little bit better in the next week. But also, you never know with the revisions they've got and the different information that's coming. We're going to have Fed minutes coming out here soon. That's going to let us, at least with the next Fed meeting, we're going to have that come out. That's going to have an influence. So hard to say where things are going to go. I just tell people take advantage of what you got when you got it, because you never know what tomorrow's going to bring you. I'll get you all the information I can come Tuesday. We'll keep feeding you all the data possible so you can make decisions about your business. Thanks for watching, and thanks for the trust.